Well, good morning. It's Jay here. It is June 2nd, 2026 at somewhere around 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm just outside of Seattle, a place called Northgate, I believe it is, on my way to see my radiation mask maker. So today's the day that they fit, and I have no idea what it looks like. I'll take a picture of it before we're done. And I guess the idea is to keep my entire head and neck as straight as possible so that I can't even move a millimeter for the few minutes that radiation actually takes. Um, Yesterday, I talked to my oncologist, my medical oncologist, my new medical oncologist, very nice fella, and he walked me through some of the things that my previous medical oncologist had walked through, and we get transferred because of location and logistics. We wanted to make sure that my chemo was done at the same place my proton therapy was done, and I don't have to drive to two different places to do that. So that made that. That's why I had to switch chemo doctors. He is definitely. There's a lot more gravity to the conversation with him than there was with Christina, my earlier medical doc. In particular, he made me face and address some end of life situations. Who do you want to have control over your life if indeed things go south? If you have a heart attack, if anything bad, he presented a number of different worst case scenarios, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I made the feel like the treatment itself is deadly. And that caused me to look up chemo and heart attacks. Is there a relationship? And, it turns out that there is. It's, from 1 to 7%, that it actually, I don't know. I'm going to dig into this more, but the actual chemo itself permanently degrades your venous system and your heart to some extent. Perhaps I should not be surprised by that. Perhaps that's not true, and I need to research that further. But a quick search uncovered a lot of things along those lines. So, I don't think, based on everything I've taken in so far, that I'm going to get out of this unscathed. If everything goes well and I get rid of the cancer, regrettably, it doesn't sound like I'm going to be the same person that'll have the same robust body that I had previously moving forward. That said, it wasn't robust enough, was it? It leaves me, I think, about what were the causes of this? Why did this happen to begin with? And, I've learned so much. Your body does, if you've got a good, solid immune system, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It notices cancer cells and it takes them out probably on a regular basis. And if I think what's different about the last few years of my life, I gotta say, the tooth thing, I talked about that early on, same side, molar leaking, cracked tooth, bacteria seeping down in that area certainly is on the list. But I have been the least active the last 2.5 years of my life than I've ever been. I go to my office, I sit in my office, I work on the computer, and I stay stationary for 8 to 10 hours a day. Now I get up, make a cup of coffee, I get up, go to the bathroom, to walk back and forth in the showroom, and there are times in between when I'm at home building fences and walking with the dogs. But the days of running on the treadmill and lifting weights, so that my cardio and my muscular system were on top of their game, for the last 2.5 years, I have done virtually none of that. I think the rest of my life has carried me up to where I am right now. I'm in good shape, no joint problems, no, my cardio is still good. And I feel great. I feel great in all other ways. But that inactivity for such a long period of time probably didn't help. There's changes in your body that result from being active and not being active. and so I think there was a penalty for that. I mean, nobody else in my family has cancer. I wear Bluetooth headsets a lot. I've got one right here. I love them. They're over the ear. They cut out the noise of the outside world. I find myself wearing them even when I don't have I'm not listening to anything. It's just nice to have the world quieted out. And when I'm not wearing them, oftentimes I'm doing this. Now they're turned off this way. They're not turned on. This way they turn on. So, is there some relationship there? Could be. Been doing it for years. I just don't get to know, really. So I've ordered a lot of blood tests kits. I've ordered a kit that I'm going to send in once a month. I'm going to puncture myself, draw some blood, send it in so that I can personally monitor my blood results and see what's going on. I've got some sugar monitor, keto, GTK, something, can't remember the name of the kit. But I want to monitor my sugar. I put myself on a ketonic diet so that I'm taking in as little sugar as possible. The goal for me is less than 20 grams of sugar, or of carbs per day. No sugars intentionally, and 20 grams of carbs, which of course convert to glucose in the body. And I used to hear things like that. Oh, this converts to sugar, that converts to sugar, this converts to sugar, and I never really give it a lot of thought. I don't even know if it's true. Well, it's true. I've dug into the science of all that, and by George, every carb you take in converts to glucose and increases the amount of sugar in your body. And your body runs off of that sugar, and your cancer loves the glucose, loves it. That's its primary fuel source, and the more of it you have, the happier it would be. And so one of the things that I'm going to do is, and I am doing for 3 days now, I've been on a keto diet, except for this morning, because this morning I'm hungry and I'm on my way to the radiation place, and I didn't have anything to eat. Marianne always gives me this perfect, 4 eggs scrambled, side of spinach, nice keto diet. I'm on the road. I got nothing, nowhere, didn't pack anything. Thought about cooking breakfast this morning at the house, but didn't really have enough of the right stuff in the fridge. Probably should have just the same. So I ended up getting a veggie English muffin. So the bread is going to sacrifice some carbs. I'm going to shut down my keto diet for a little bit, but when I'm back in my own hometown, I can do that better. And if I plan for that, I can do that better when I leave. So the body, the cells use ketones, that's ketones, as a fuel source in the absence of glucose. So when you cut out your carbs, you cut out your sugar, your liver will then start pulling from your fat, converting from your fat reserves. Somehow there's a conversion process where it manufactures ketones. It comes directly from your fat reserves. So it's eating your body. And it's interesting because I thought it was a byproduct of that process that showed ketones in the bloodstream, but it is, they're actually manufacturing the ketones in the liver from your fat. And so there's your new energy source. And it turns out your body likes it better. Your mind's sharper, your body's sharper. I can tell you, hands down, I've done this enough times personally, where I've done water fasts for, or no food fast for 3 days, up to 3 days. Middle of that second day, I feel like I snorted a line of cocaine. Not that I've ever done that sort of thing. And I have this incredible, sharp mental acuity. Body is, a lot more energy. And even this morning, I feel that way. This is now 3 or 4 days into a keto diet. And, as soon as I eat something like that, I'm probably going to get a little bit more sluggish, a little bit more slowed down. And I frankly love, and surprisingly flexible. You'll find out that all the foods that you think are bad for you are bad for you. And next thing you know, you're eating more salmon, you're eating more vegetables, you're eating, more avocados, cottage cheese and raspberries. Raspberry is the very best of the fruits. Not without its penalty. Same with cottage cheese, but very, very minor compared to all other things. So there's a lot of things that you can eat, and I won't go through the whole menu right now, but I definitely have a menu. So anyway, after I hang up, I got to leave now. Next step is to go to the radiation place, get my mask fitted. I've got to go to a swallowing doctor where she's going, or a swallowing therapist. She's going to make sure that I understand what exercises need to be done that involve swallowing, that ensure that once this radiation, chemo, and all that kind of stuff is done, I'm able to swallow. Because if I'm not able to swallow, they're going to punch a hole right there and feed me from there. I don't want to be that guy. By the way, they're already talking about putting a port in me somewhere, a port that sticks in there, that's always available to draw fluids, add fluids, whatever. God, that's freaking makes me feel old fast. It makes me feel unhealthy fast, and I don't want to be that guy. It feels like an infirmed individual, which right now I'm still very robust and sharp. But otherwise, I'm going to be a pincushion where they constantly stick in me to do this or that every time I visit. And, I've been through that a fair number of times already, and I certainly don't look forward to that. So I'll probably opt for the port. Anyway, that's it for now. I will talk to you further when I get out of the radiation office and get my mask fitted and know more about what it's going to be. A long day. I've got a lot of different stops along the way, and I'll talk about each one of them. Thanks for watching.